Welcome to Detours, Understanding Acquired Brain Injury.
Kate, and we're going to be talking about something a little unusual. We're going to be talking about how brain injury can actually help in some ways. Strange as this may sound, 1 in 5 people, their loved ones, their spouses, their kids, parents, and they say that they've noticed some improvements after brain injury. Now, I'm not suggesting you go out there and go hit your head or anything like that, because the cons kind of outweigh the pros, but you can find some benefits in the long run. So I have with me Kate, and we'll be talking about how she's found that she's had some benefits in some ways due to her traumatic brain injury.
Hello. Like Mark said, we're certainly not going to hit ourselves on the head on purpose. But some of the things we think of as being negative about frontal lobe injury, I think have actually helped me internally and also in relationships. For example, I tended to be an anxious person, a little bit obsessive, which means obsessive compulsive disorder is when you think about things constantly that aren't that important, and you may do things like counting, checking door locks. By the way, the movie As Good as It Gets actually is a pretty accurate portrayal of OCD, but I diverge. I found that the apathy makes me a lot less anxious. My anxiety was above normal. Anxiety is good. It makes you alert, it makes you pay attention to your surroundings and protect yourself. But if you have too much, obviously it's not good. I'm more relaxed. I think I'm a little happier because of it. Now, the adynamia, which is the lack of initiative, difficulty getting yourself going to do things, which is different from not wanting to. It's made me more patient. I think I probably used to be a little bit like a bulldozer. I was going forward. You'd either better go with me or stay out of my way. I'm much less hurried now. If there's someone in my way, which doesn't mean obstructing me, but needs something or whatever, I'm just not going to be plowing them down. I think it makes me more understanding of other people, especially people who have disabilities. I think the typical American wonders if somebody with a disability really is disabled. Are they sponging off the system? And I'm sure that there are some, but having a genuine disability is really a problem. And I understand what it's like. I feel like I was fortunate. My head injury was mild. It's head injury. It hasn't affected my physical abilities. So I consider myself lucky, but at the same time, I know what it feels like to not be what you used to be. Now, another one of the executive functions I have is actually a specific function, which is called difficulty planning. I used to be able to cook a meal. I have everything out at the correct time. I'd have several different dishes. Now I make the main course, and when the roast is coming out of the oven, I try to figure out what to serve with it. The reason that's been helpful, I now allow other people to help me because I recognize that I can't do it. So usually having friends over for dinner or something like that, I'll plan the main course, and they will bring things. They'll get here and they'll be like, "Oh, we should cook this." I think it's good to rely on other people, and I think they like it as well. Which comes to my last point: Type A and Type B personality. The terms have gone by the wayside, but most people will probably remember Type A was a hard-driving person who was thought to have high blood pressure because they were a very intense person, and Type B people were more relaxed, probably more easy to like and to love. I had some of those Type A characteristics. I don't think I was really bad, but I've definitely become more of a Type B. and I think I may be more likable because of that. Mark, comments?
Yeah, you had mentioned about memory. We had talked about memory being actually, in a way, problems with the memory being actually beneficial, and that you can let bygones be bygones. You forget something, some silly argument or whatever.
And I think a little bit of the apathy again, they just aren't as important. They weren't going to be important anyway in an hour or a day, but they become less important really quickly.
Yeah.
I definitely I was one of those people who would get mad really quickly, but then get over it really quickly. I'm not as emotionally responsive. I don't get mad as quickly. I think I still get happy quickly, but I don't get mad as quickly. And I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, and for me, I definitely say I'm similar in a bunch of those ways. Kind of definitely like because of the adenomia and some of that apathy, it's like I don't like. I'm a lot like flatter in that way than I used to be. I was definitely way more anxious. I was definitely, and I like to laugh a lot more and more jokes and bad jokes. Unfortunately, the only kind I know. But it's like, and it just made me enjoy. And actually, I'm definitely more social than I used to be. More open-hearted. And you definitely have a lot of friends, and that's something I know you had mentioned at some point. You'd said you have way more friends now, and you did because you're more willing to take a risk. That's the impulsiveness being an advantage, because you're not afraid of, oh my, what if they don't like me? What if they don't? What the heck? Give it a shot. It's not. So there's another benefit that can come out of this. This willingness to take a risk.
There are a lot of different areas that your frontal lobe can be affected. Help me here. I believe that looking at the symptoms I have, it's more of a dorsomedial.
Yes. Yeah.
Frontal injury. I looked at some of the others. I don't really have them. I'd like to come up with examples of how they're advantages, because I'm sure they are, but I wasn't able to. I don't have them.
Well, the big picture, and that's more executive dysfunction. But the problem is most of those are not outright. Those are not beneficial. Those are pain in the rear end, most of those.
Yeah.
But, it's like being impulsive can have an advantage as long as you don't have a lot of temperamental problems. Don't hit people. Don't get physically aggressive, but issues with the big picture and stuff like that, that's kind of more of a disadvantage. And most of these things are disadvantages, but there definitely can be ways that your personality, you can be more open-hearted, more compassionate, more, and if you injure different areas in your frontal lobe, you can lose some of that. So it really depends. It's the luck of the draw. This is why we're saying, please don't go out and whack your head, because, but it also doesn't have to be doom and gloom either. That some people, again, 1 out of 5. And so, it's just like we're just reflecting on ways that it's helped us in some ways. It's been beneficial. And there are other people I've spoken to, and maybe we'll get a chance to talk to others about how they found it was actually made things better. Emily has talked about that before, how she's felt like she doesn't yell at her daughter, and she just lets things kind of roll off her back now that she didn't. Of course, she also almost had the house burned down on her because she just completely ignored the pizza box in the oven. And exactly. And she was like, oh, well, you do. And you make jokes about almost dying. But, other than that, hey. It's like we laugh together. And like I said, those are the kind of things that are, as you do. And so, yeah. I guess that really covers what we want to, is the hope in all of this, right? And that it doesn't have to be, that you can find the silver lining in that cloud, and you don't have to find the cloud in the silver lining. You know what I mean? That's what this is about here.
If there's a silver lining, there has to be a cloud.
Yeah, always. And it's like, and so, anything you wish to share, anything else you wish to share before we kind of wrap up?
Click the like button, click the bell.
Darn tootin'.
Leave some comments. We'll talk about what you want to hear about.
Absolutely. Yep. Totally true. And so, Goodbye from Detours, and we'll see you again, Kate, and have a good one. Bye.
Thank you for watching Detours, Understanding Acquired Brain Injury. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and don't forget to click the bell icon. If you have questions, please enter them in the discussion below.